that at some point, but let me just hop right in because a lot of people probably don't know this. Because I don't think I said it enough. The first season, I guess I call it, of the Nine Minds radio show, but it was because of Black Witch Chronicles and Black Witch University that I was able to. One of the reasons that I, kind of got started with the Nine Minds radio show is because I was deeply inspired by the work that y'all were
Oh,
doing.
yes.
From Black Witch
Thank you.
Chronicles to Black Witch University, all the way up until now. So I want to just sing your praises for a little while. So, LaKeesha Harris, I'm going to read your bio and then I'm going to read the part that I wrote about you.
Yes.
LaKeesha Harris is a longtime abolitionist, human rights, and reproductive justice activist. Her work in social justice movement spaces have spanned the Midwest and Deep South, having had national impact with a recent Supreme Court win on abortion access in Louisiana. A deeply rooted Black witch, LaKeesha opened her doors to teaching Black diasporic students in Chicago in 2016 as the founder of Black Witch University, a Black maroon mystery school dedicated to the liberation of our people and the reclamation of our sacred tradition and magical practices. Articles featured about her and her work have been featured in the national and international broadcasts and publications such as the Tom Joyner Morning Show, Vibe, and Vice magazines. LaKeesha Harris is a national treasure who must be protected at all costs. LaKeesha herself comes from a strong lineage of medicine women who work the land and maintain ritual in the garden and in the kitchen, but they never called their practice magic. What was understood didn't need to be said. One of LaKeisha's pillars is using our tools to dismantle oppression. It is our magic that will protect us and break down the master's house. So that's what I want to start off with. Our topic today.
Ashe, I feel love. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. We want to talk about liberation rituals for Black women, for
Yes.
ourselves, our families, and our community. Okay. Um, so we got this upcoming election going
Yes.
on, and everybody's kind of people who are deeply involved and engaged in the system are like running around right now. But those of us who are we've been sitting back for a long time, generation after generation, decade after decade, we're excited to see this shit fall to the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
what does knocking all this shit over look like to you? Like when we finally come into the ritual practice of liberation movement, what does that look like to you when it comes to ending all of these really oppressive systems?
It really looks like the chaos that we're bearing witness to right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're in it.
Right.
And we just have to recognize that we are right now. What was it? Frederick Douglass said, "Power concedes nothing without first a demand."
Mm.
Okay, we have been demanding it, um, with our very lives, right? And I'm a fan of working our magic in times of chaos because
Right.
I feel like that is where the rich fulfillment of who we are comes out of. Like the chaos magic of the Haitian Revolution, for instance.
Right.
The chaos magic of, so many different things that have benefited us. The civil rights movement was
Mm-hmm.
chaotic,
Right.
and it served a purpose of us going forward,
Right.
a forward movement for Black people. And then I think that there came a time where our people took a back seat on our magical practices and our spiritual traditions that was deeply rooted in Christianity. Our conjure people were still conjuring under oppression of our sacred tradition, right? And they were using that magic. And for some reason, and we know what the reason is, um, heat deep oppression, deep oppression of divine feminine,
Let's talk
right?
about it. Call it what it is.
Deep oppression of the divine feminine, where we felt like, we need to follow our men and we need to reconcile our men and put our men in the forefront and us take a back seat. And the fear of our magic, has placed us at a deeper oppression than we could ever face in these last, I want to say, 3 to 4 decades, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the divine feminine is waking up.
Mm-hmm.
The divine feminine has been awoken. And so what I'm seeing right now is Black women doing everything, owning our space. I see Black women getting land space. I'm a perfect example of that. I see Black women taking leadership roles and saying, fuck it all, fuck all of y'all. I'm sorry if I am not allowed to cuss.
Fuck all y'all. You said
I'm a cussing Black witch, okay?
That's right. Fuck all y'all.
So my grandma, my mama, my cussing is deep and ancient. So what I see is Black women saying, fuck it all. I'm really about this magic life. But more importantly, Black women are knowing and owning the space that is them, that is magical space, that is altar space, that is revolutionary space. Mm-hmm. And when my students come in, I want them to understand, not in an abstract way, that we are magic. I want them to really, sincerely embrace the fact that our whole being is magic. Our spit is magic, which is why people in conjure practices, and it is something that I do all the time because I'm deeply in political activism, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to the state house and I spit on these stairs because I know that my spit is magic. Henrietta Lacks, I want to bring her in, Ashe, because she's been in my heart and my spirit lately. Henrietta Lacks, her healer cells is infinite. It has produced cancer research, mm-hmm. Polio vaccines. I mean, any research is, in this century, is founded on Henrietta Lacks's healer cells, her cervix cells. Her cervix cells, y'all.
Right.
It's producing medicine. Henrietta Lacks, it didn't end with Henrietta Lacks, and it didn't begin with Henrietta Lacks.
Right.
They've always known. That's why they've always oppressed it and kept it from us.
Right.
And we've acquiesced in some ways to that oppression, for many varied reasons, to save ourselves, to save our community, because we thought that was going to save. If we, maybe we're too much magic. Maybe we have to hide it. Maybe, they'll stop beating our children or lynching our children. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they will give us reprieve. And that's never been the case. They've never given us reprieve. Never. So if we can embody and own the fact that our very being is magic, that we are the altar space, we can stop looking for outside sources and know the power of who we are. And that is, for me, is Black liberation. It starts with the divine feminine. That's you seated and rooted in who you are as a Black witch, as a Black spirit person, whatever you want to call it. I call myself a Black witch. I know that to be true. I know who I am. I know who my ancestors were. I know that they were Maroons. I have researched them. I have done my homework. And I implore you to do that for yourselves, because it's very empowering to know that your ancestors wasn't just sitting on a plantation, right? To know that they were caretakers of the cotton as well as the pickers of the cotton, because they knew that the cotton held medicine at the root. It wasn't just a commodity for rich people, white people, the colonizers to get rich off of, right? Mm-hmm. They knew that cotton root held medicine for abortion care. And they utilized that medicine of abortion care any chance they could get, especially when Black slave women were being raped by colonizers and they needed to abort those children. They took the helm of their own reproductive systems. And that is the medicine. Knowing how and what, and looking around your environment and oh, that tree, what is that tree? How can that tree be useful to me? Can I make some kinship with my environment? And that is so important when we as Black women are reclaiming land space. It's not just we get in a house, not for me anyway. Mm-hmm. It is what's around that house. It is what that house used to be for my people. Who was in this community that I'm purchasing in? What was here before me? Mm-hmm. Who's missing currently? You find so many different things when you reclaim land space and reclaim yourself and reclaim your divine feminine energy and own it in all the ways. So that's Black liberation for me.
Whew. You sent chills all through my body. That's a beautiful explanation. One of the things that I think we get away from when we talk about liberation and what that looks like is the reclamation of the land, right? Mm-hmm. We think of it in terms of structures, right? And systems, and not so much the very simple things, as in, like you just said, the cotton plant and what that can offer my body. How can that heal me? And what do I need to do to heal that, to heal the space that is growing on, right?
Right.
And we have a tendency to almost overcomplicate not just our lives, but not just our practices and rituals, but our lives by not thinking simply, right? So when it comes to Black witchcraft and really Black lifestyle, the Black witch life, how can each of us simplify our practice, right? I know, myself included, I have a tendency to think I have to go out and get a whole bunch of stuff and, kind of do a whole bunch of things to get into the mood of ritual. But what is the power in using what's available to us at any given moment?
Right. I want to first assert that if we all are the altar space, the first basic thing you can do is take care of yourself.
Ashe.
In whatever way that you can. And I know that all medicines and resources are not available to us, but you are available to you.
Right.
And so whatever you can do every single day to better yourself, be that rest. I have a friend who's a dear friend of mine that is a part of the NAP ministry.
I love them.
Oh my God, we've been longtime sister friends from Chicago. And if rest is something, she teaches rest as an act of revolution.
Yes.
Right? And that's not an abstract thing. Rest. Give yourself a reprieve in a system that is designed to work you to death. Okay? That's one thing, one very sacred thing you can do. is take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Eat as good food as possible. Drink water.
Mm-hmm.
Water as libation externally is water as libation internally.
That's
You
right.
are pouring libations upon the altar when you take it and ingest it. It is needed. And it is the source of communication. So you trying to manifest something, some better health for yourself, speak to the water and drink it. Speak to the water and drink it. It's very simple. Yemaya comes through the water.
Ashe.
Oshun comes through the water. You are talking to them. If you are the water and our body is made up 85, 90% water, when you want to communicate with Oshun and Yemaya, it is not an abstract thing. Talk to yourself. Talk to yourself. It's as simple as that. We go out, and mind you, I mind my external altars too. I do have a beautiful altar set up, and I make sure that my ancestor altar is the first thing that I set up in my house every time. So, but seeing the altar as myself, I take care of myself first because my ancestors want me to do that.
Right.
And you know, if you pouring yourself a drink, pour your ancestors a drink. It's simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
You are communicating. And I feel like also people think spirit talk in such an abstract way, like the spirit world is out there and we are communicating like this instead of communicating like this in a circular cylinder motion. They are wrapped around you, right? It is not over there. It is not in the heavens. It is not below you. It is everything. It is wrapped around you. So when I ask for protection, I'm saying ancestors go before me, ancestors behind me, ancestors all around me. In this, I ask for protection, knowing that they're all around me, okay? So very simple things. The other thing is use what's in the kitchen.
Right.
Use what's on the land space.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I say recognizing what's around you is very important. We have a lot of banana plants, plantain plants around us. I bet you if you, and I give this to my students, go and see what's around you and report back. There is an app on your phone that can be a plant identifier, right? Some of them are free, some of them you have to pay for, but it's worth the money if you can identify medicine in your community. People got rosemary bushes they done planted. If you got something, you can exchange. And that's what we used to do.
Yes.
We operate. You can exchange some medicines between you. You can say, I can make medicine with this rosemary, right? With this milk thistle, with this whatever, and I can bring that back to the community as an offering if you allow me to cut down some of this bush.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, you know, which work is healer's work, is community work, is activism work.
There it is. Yep, it's not the cute shit that we are led to believe in based on media and based on what's popular right now. It is very ancient and it is about connecting, right? To our environment. So absolutely.
It really is. Mm-hmm. It really is the wise person, wise woman's way of being.
Right.
All of that is wisdom. You know, if you ain't got no ancestors to sit at the feet of your altars, your ancestor altar, right? Mm-hmm. Because not all elders know what you need, but your ancestors do. And if that is not around you or you don't feel comfortable with sitting at the foot of an elder in your community, because not all elders are good elders.
Okay.
Let's be clear.
Right.
So if you don't feel comfortable, you can always sit at the foot of your ancestors if you make a space for them in your home.
Right.
So I just really encourage Black witches to use what they have to get what they want.
Ashe. What something about altars. I've been doing readings a lot lately. Um and every time I talk to someone, I encourage them to set up an ancestral altar first and to
Yes,
start taking spiritual baths at least once a week.
absolutely. In this
Um,
moment, that's critical.
right, exactly. I feel like those are liberation rituals as well, right?
Mhm.
Can you give
Mhm.
us some liberation rituals, as in routines, work, even
Yes.
practices that we can implement in our everyday to stave off the abuses we face in just about every direction? How can we divest from systems of patriarchy, like we were talking about earlier, the
Mhm.
oppressors of the feminine principle, and white male imperialism that
Mhm.
keep us both stressed out and unsafe?
Right. So baths is one thing that you can do, and I recommend, um, you know, once a week apple cider vinegar baths are really good.
Hmm.
If you can put some lemon peels, because lemon or that citrus
Hmm.
really cleanses or breaks free all the negative and toxic energy. So if you don't have, again, lemons are in our direct vicinity. Lemon, uh, citrus and lemon scents are a part, and they also bring in abundance. So it cuts through the negative energy, but also that lemon scent brings in abundance. That sweet smell of it brings in abundance, because you're not just cutting these astral cords, because colonizers have astral territory. Understand that.
Talk about it.
They take up astral space.
Yes, they do.
So you want to continue to cut these ties of colonization. So taking you a nice citrus bath, ACV bath, can cut through the acidic properties in it, cuts through it. But the lemon bath, or adding lemon peels or lemon verbena, I love lemon verbena, um, is the base of any kind of abundance oil that you'll want to think of, right? So
Mhm.
you want to invite that abundance. So I also have told my students, when you are staging, and I do this as a ritual as well, people are like, I'm staging all the negative energy out and I'm banishing all of the negative energy, right? But do you invite the sweet stuff back in?
Right.
I always tell my students, and as a practice, as a ritual practice myself, if you're smoking, if you're saging, if you're banishing things out of your home or from you, also invite the sweetness back in. So I'll burn sweet smelling incense, neroli,
Mhm.
jasmine.
Right.
I sugar my walkway
Hmm.
as a ritual to invite those who come in to for sweetness.
Yes.
Don't come in my house if you're not bringing sweetness and abundance, because that's what I'm going to give to you. My offering is love. So I need you to bring that love into my home. So I'm always putting sugar in front of my doorstep.
Hmm.
People say put salt at your barrier. I do, but I'm inviting the sweetness in too.
Hmm.
So I make sugar from my walkway to my doorstep.
All right.
And
Okay.
that's inviting love.
Right.
I also utilize hawthorn berry a lot to pour
Hawthorne.
around the parameter of my house.
Say
So
that again.
hawthorn, have you ever heard of the hawthorn tree
I
or
have.
hawthorn berry?
Okay.
Hawthorn has Hawthorn tree can be used for multiple purposes.
Okay.
Um, what do you call, like it has a little stick on it. And I will use that if I'm doing hexing rituals that divides love, because the tree is prickly, right? The branches are prickly, and you can use it to divide love. But also the berries are good for the circulatory system, the heart. If you got people in your family, high blood pressure, coronary disease, it's really good to steep the berries and ingest it. Also, it's really good if you're going through heart trouble, like matters of the heart, and heartache, or you're going through a breakup, right? It's really good for that. But also, it is really good to, pour around the house as a barrier to keep love in, to protect that love space.
All right, I learned something new today. Yeah, I didn't know that about strawberry.
Those are, I say as a ritual, be mindful of what you're bringing into your household.
Right.
Be protective of that love space. So those are two things that I would suggest, but also be mindful of your protection. It's really good to, and I say I double up on my amulets, and I don't have one with me right now, but a good thing is like to maybe put a sigil on your, especially if you're going to have, you're going out into activist space, or, a lot of our people have been really hurt in within the Black Lives Matter movement, and going out into the streets. So I love putting protection sigils on the back of my stone and then putting it on my neck, right? Because you cover both ways. So you can have like a tourmaline and put Jupiter on it. So if you want to face front, Jupiter is the sign of put a sigil for Jupiter on the back. So if you're needing luck, turn it around. If you have a tourmaline, it's for protection.
Right.
So if you need that protection, you can turn it around and have the luck facing you or the luck facing outward. So it's really good. So I would double up on my amulets.
Right.
My amulets of protection, my stones of protection. Take them with you. Learn the sigils, learn the different sigils and what they're useful for.
Okay. Right. That's something that I do. I took the time to learn, but I haven't been brushing up on that. So I'm definitely gonna get back on my sigil game and draw them on the stones that I carry with me in my bra. Right. So okay. Is there some collective juju that we can work on the master's house? Right?
Ooh.
We talked about it before. We coming up hard on election season. I
Yes.
know we having a hard time with these options. Like, what can we do collectively on the master's house to increase our chances of safety and in this chaos to make sure that us and our children remain protected?
Yes. So take inventory on where you are.
Okay.
Right? Take inventory on where you are, where your location is. What is the top master's house in that location?
Ooh, okay, that would be the senator.
Exactly. Go piss on his steps. Throw some piss on his steps. Remember, I told you that every part of your being is magic. Go throw some early morning piss on himself. Before you get there, talk to the water that is coming out of your body. Communicate with it. Get real familiar with your body. Okay?
Got you.
We're talking about reclaiming space. We get to reclaim that space. We get to reclaim that space. And ain't nobody got to know you throwing piss, honey.
Right.
Who got to know that you're doing this? Just go and do it.
Right.
Get to the water. I need you to move this mountain. I need you to remove these colonizers. If we go to the police house, if we march into the police house, right? Beyond the sage. Do all of these works. You know, go to your altar and ask Ogun to show up. Go to your altar. You got people in your family who have passed over, who were warriors for the movement. Ask them to come along with you and whisper in your ear and tell you what to do.
Ashe.
Get out in the streets beyond just burning your candles inside. You know, reclaim the space that is your block. I've talked about sage in the block, and I've seen people do that. But you can also pour them hot hawthorn berries, take a gallon and pour it around your block so that your people are exhibiting love in the community.
That's right. Okay.
That I was just talking about. Yeah. So you're protecting not only you, you're protecting that community. Wash the block down. Wash the block down. You're a conjure woman. Do what you're doing inside of your house, do it on the outside of your house. But be inconspicuous about it if you don't want to get arrested. Now, I obviously have been arrested for many different things that has to do with political activism. But I'm strategic about it as well.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So just be strategic. Use what you got to get the results that you need. Oh, a good thing is we don't often use our, dust trap methods. Those, or not just dust trap, but footprint method. They ain't checking your shoes all the time. Right. I always tell my students, get an insole and write what you need on the insole inside of your shoe, right? They're often not gonna lift up your insoles even if they have you take your shoes off.
Right.
But even still, you can write what you need on that insole. Like they're gonna be like, oh, what you write on your insole? They don't care. Right. They just check and see if you got a gun because they see the gun or a weapon. They don't understand that our footprint is a weapon. So, write your petition in the soles of your shoes and walk that around the buildings. Walk that around the massive land tracts that they have accumulated from indigenous people and Black people and taken away. Walk it around the land. Walk it up to their doorstep. Walk that petition up in the soles of your shoes. Those are some common things that you can do, very simple rituals that you can do in space and to take down these tools of colonization.
Right. I say. All right. Last question. Is voting a liberation ritual? Or is that a tool used by oppressors?
So we all see what happens when we don't vote en masse. We have this fool that's in the White House. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be tearing up the streets and just tearing this motherfucking shit down, because we should, but some of us not there yet, right? We need a lot of people if we're gonna do, if we're gonna do what our maroon ancestors did, which is murder white folks in their sleep, because that's about what needs to happen at this point, right?
Right.
Murder colonizers in their sleep.
That's it.
No.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
We don't have that yet. A lot of our people ain't there yet. We got some people. We have a growing movement happening, but a lot of our people ain't there yet. And until our people get there, we still have to navigate this system of oppression.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like our ancestors knew that, which is why they fought for the ballot. So many years we didn't have a right to vote because the colonizers didn't deem us no less than the couch,
Right.
a chair that they sat on.
Right.
And literally, they sat on us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like it's both. It is the ballot and the bullet. You're gonna have to show up to the polls until until the revolution happens.
Right.
You're gonna have to show up to the polls. We right now, because white people showed up to the polls, white women, let's be specific because it is the white women who put Trump's vote over top, right?
Mm-hmm.
They carried him home.
Right.
Right? And because our people didn't show up in mass in the ways that we had did for Barack Obama for the 8 years that he was there, we have a president right now who does not give a flying fuck that black people are dying, black and brown people are dying from COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
And we're probably gonna pick Joe Biden, who don't give
a fuck either.
More of a fuck.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
We have in the first black woman to take vice president.
Mm-hmm.
Run for vice president of a major ticket, which is the Democratic ticket, which we know Democrats couldn't give a flying fuck about us.
Okay. Okay.
But we still need to show up and vote this person in and still work simultaneous for the revolution. We can't drop any of these balls. We can't stay home and sit this out. Mm-hmm. And we can't stop our decolonization practices at the same time. So for me, I'm going to the polls. I'm not going to be judgmental of someone who doesn't show up or opt out, right?
That would be me, right? And
I'm not going to be judgmental of that because mm-hmm. you have a reason. Has this system been fair to you? No, it hasn't. Mm-hmm. Has this system showed up as anything but colonized material? No, it has not. Exactly. I'm not going to be judgmental, and I'm going to try to get as many people as I can to at least do a mail-in ballot. I'm not going to say black people show up to the polls and risk fucking COVID-19 and risk your health for this fucking system. I'm not going to say that.
Right.
However, I'm going to encourage those who can or who are willing to at least participate in the voting process to get Trump out of office. He will not do.
Ashe. Mama LaKeesha Harris, I want to tell you.
I love you so much. Thank you.
I love you too, sis. I love you too. I'm going to say it again. It was Black Witch Chronicles that gave me the idea to start the Non Minds radio show back in 2016. I was so thirsty for knowledge and information, and I knew that there were many others like me who were too. So thank you for all the work that you put into providing safe community spaces for Black women to learn and tap into their power, Mama. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for coming and listening, and for including me in this. I appreciate you. Continue to do this work. I know it's daunting and heavy at times, but we need you, and I need every one of y'all Black women to survive.
Ashe. I like I told you earlier, it was black women saved my life every day, every single day, in some way, shape, or form. It's my sisters who